Alright guys, so welcome back to the build. Hope that everybody's safe and enjoying these quarantine times, using them to make progress on your builds and everything like I am. So this video is going to be about getting these gosh dang fenders, rear fenders mounted on both sides of the S14. These, as far as I know, these are replicas because the kit that these are replicated from has been discontinued since like 2004. But the original kit that these were for is I believe the S14 Blitz kit. It's a widebody kit, or it's not Blitz. I think it's B&N. It's one of those two. I'll probably just drop a picture of it, but it's a replica of the kit. It's a full wide body kit that they made. So it's these fenders and it's a bumper to match, as well as front fenders and stuff like that. I just wanted these rears because these are the widest rear fenders that you can get for the S14 in this style without having to fab up your own. I believe these are 70 millimeters or more than 70, probably 75 if I remember correctly. And I couldn't find anything that was wider, and I need the widest that I could get. These don't even clear these, but with putting these on and seeing the amount of poke that I would still have, I'm cool with that. I feel like it looks a little bit aggressive. So first things first, the wheel doesn't fit, so I'm gonna trim. I got this tape marked around the arch at 1.5 inches, and I'm gonna just trim 1.5 inches off of here, see if that clears the wheel, and if not, then I'm gonna go another 1/2 inch to 2 inches around, see if that clears. And then once I get it to clear, I can go ahead and put it in the proper position and start looking for mounting points. I also know that this, for the door, has to be trimmed based on, how the fitment is. So it'll be that first, getting it in the right position, taping it up, and then marking how I'm gonna cut this. And after that, it'll just be drilling holes for rivets and everything like that. So we're gonna start with this. I'm gonna go ahead and cut, and that measurement is on the outside line, that 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this and then mark it up, mock it up, see if it clears the wheel now, and if not, we'll continue from there. So this is how much I had to trim off the last one. So it's 1 inch, I think 1.5 inches on the first one all the way around, and then the top I did an extra I did an extra 1/2 inch around the top just to get it to clear the wheel. So now it's fine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grind it down a little bit to make it smooth instead of jagged like that. So that's cool. I had to trim the little area in front of the door like I thought I would. So I'm talking about this little lip that they got going on. I guess it's kind of designed to look like it's flush when you close the door, but that lip requires some trimming to close the door. As you can see, I finally got the door closed, and I cut a lot of it off because it was coming from here to like right here. So I cut majority of that off, got the door to close, and yeah, so this is pretty much how it's gonna look when it gets mounted on there. So I'll do it before and after, since this side doesn't have it. That's the before, and then this will be the after. Mind you, I still gotta adjust the wheels, but I'm cool with this. It's a decent amount of poke. I did go ahead and try to put the old Rocket Bunny ones on top just to see how it would look, and I didn't like the style of it, so it's gonna be that. As far as hard mounting this, I'm thinking 1 rivet here, 1 rivet up top, 1 here, 1 here, 1 somewhere in this area, 2 down here, And I'm gonna have to figure something out for this side as well, because it's got this gap, so it ain't like I could just rivet it. But that should be pretty secure if I do it that way. And yeah, and then wipe this thing down because it's so damn dusty. So yeah, let's just start marking up some holes. Alright, I got the holes drilled. One right here, one right here. I wanted to space them out a little bit more than what I originally said, because I want them to get maximum coverage. I still haven't figured out what I'm gonna do for this area, because I do want to have one here, but it's kind of like a little lip right there, so I can't directly just drill through here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna see how strong it is and how sturdy it is with the holes that I've already drilled, because as far as I know, it's just this line that doesn't have a hole, or it won't have a rivet, and then this bottom piece won't have a rivet either, because there's also nothing for me to directly like put a rivet in. But if it's strong enough without those two, then I'll just leave it like that. But yeah, so far so good. Okay, so I got all the holes drilled. I took it off, but they're lined up. So, nothing major as of right now, but what I like to do, I don't know if this is required or not, but what I like to do is, you know, while it's exposed metal, just take a quick thing. Overspray doesn't really matter because this is all getting painted anyway, but just to kind of prevent them from rusting, because that is exposed metal. And so I like to do that. Not 100% if it works or not, but rather be safe than sorry. And yeah, so then I'll just put this back on, and then it'll be riveting them in. Another thing to do while it's off is make sure that the rivets actually fit the holes. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to drill them out a little bit more, but they're all in the right spots. This one's fine, that one's fine, this one needs to be drilled out, this one's fine. And then these two down here, that one's fine, that one's fine. So yeah, it's just this one and that one that needs to be drilled out a little bit more, and then we could go ahead and pop this on, and then that should be a done deal. Okay, so here's a little trick. I mean, rivets are pretty much permanent, but if you want to minimize the chances or minimize the damage of you fucking up, this is one thing I do. So instead of popping them all the way in like this, it takes me like 2 squeezes with this one to pop them in. I got this on Amazon. So yeah, 2 squeezes will pop them off. 1 squeeze will get them set in there, but it won't be all the way in. So if you did mess up, it'd be a lot easier to get this one out than to finish it and then have to re-drill the whole thing, because it's not all the way in there. So that's what I did. That's why the stems are still in all of these, because I just wanted to be sure that it's good. And then I moved this hole over some so that I can get this flat, and this is on there. This is good. This is good. Back is good. So I don't need nothing up here. And then the bottom is solid as well. And the only thing that's loose is this part back down here, because there's nothing really for me to attach it to. It's too much space for a rivet right there. And then this is like a flat thing in, so there's nothing to bolt that to. What I'm thinking about doing is drilling a hole right here, and then a hole either in the bumper or in the side of the fender and just putting a zip tie right there to secure it. But the rest of this is good, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop the rest of these off and get to work on that last bit. So I got everything done. I wiped it off a little bit. So what I did down here, I'm probably gonna do something different, but I took a zip tie and went around this and put it through the back of there. I mean, it does the job, but it's still a little loose compared to what I would like. So I'm probably gonna figure something else out with that. And when I do, I'll put it in here. But outside of that one part, the rest of this thing is on, solid, no problems. Door opens and closes, you know. So that's one side done. And then we'll go on to the other side. Okay, so again, this side is on and done. We're gonna work on this side. That side is the easier side because this side has the gas cap. And there's a bunch of ways that you can do this. It kind of depends on your preference. So since I have this, I cannot not do anything because that will block the gas cap from opening. So you can kind of get clever with it. Really the two ways that I'm considering on this, so that's getting cut anyway, but the two ways that I'm considering is to either do an extension for the OEM gas cap or to get a locking gas cap. So I'm gonna just walk through, well, the other one's kind of self-explanatory, but I'm gonna just walk through the extension just in case anybody else is doing this. Got a tip from a pretty cool guy. So obviously a locking gas cap just replaces this right here, but it has a key in it and it's locked, so you would have to use the key to unlock it and then you can take it out, so nobody can walk up and just steal your gas cap or, you know, still siphon gas or whatever it is they want to do. The extension that I was talking about requires a little bit of welding, so I was talking to a guy that did it. He extended his out and it maintains OEM functionality. So he made a bracket that went across and screwed in to those two mounts. Then it was a metal piece that came straight out, however long he needed it to be, and then another bracket that came across mimicking these mounts where it would mount directly to the cap side, and that would extend it out. And then he put a magnetic pole right here and a magnet right there, so that whenever it closed he could just tap this, it'll open, and then he'd close it and the magnet would be there. But make sure you use a strong magnet, especially if you're gonna drift. I think due to the fact that I don't have a welder and nobody makes those custom brackets, like mass produces them, I'm probably just gonna do the locked gas cap and call it a day. So for this install, because I don't know when I'm gonna do that, but for this install I'm gonna just take this off and we'll run it like that. And this is pretty simple. It's literally just 2 screws and this pops out, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. But I'm gonna take this off and then I'm gonna go ahead and start trimming this one. Remember, I did 1.5 inches around the whole thing and then an extra 1/2 inch around the top, like so, to clear these big ass wheels. After I do that, I'll be able to get it into place. Then I'll trim here. So as far as trimming here, I trimmed basically this entire thing. I just followed that line all the way down. Following that line all the way down got me to the point where I could close the door and everything. So that's how much I trimmed right there. And I also trimmed this little hump that comes out. I trimmed that too because that pushes this thing was originally sitting like this because of that hump, and you can see that I cut it right there flush. And so that was the last thing I trimmed, and then the whole thing was ready to go on via rivets. So I'm gonna start doing that, and then we're gonna go ahead and mock this up, see how it looks, and hard mount this one too, and then I can get to work on something else Just a side note, I'll put a little timestamp to skip if you don't care about it, but I got a new daily. So this is, I just got it 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. So this is the new daily. I haven't had a daily in a while, ever since the Sonata broke down. Like it jumped timing and the engine started knocking all while I was on the expressway, so it was a wrap. But yeah, I just got this one. Not too much done on it. You see, I got the MB battles. It's lowered as piss. I'm gonna be raising this up today. But as far as I know, it's got the rims, it's got an exhaust, headlights, tail lights, which are LED, tints, visors. It's got a cold air intake, and that's about it. Oh, side skirts, a rear bumper. It came with a front bumper that's over there, that's destroyed. I'm probably not gonna run it because it needs a lot of help. This is the bumper right here that it came with. So I'm probably either gonna try to give this away to somebody or just toss it in trash. I'm gonna see if somebody wants it. I mean, of course, for free. They want to put the time in to fix it. And if not, I'm gonna just trash it. But yeah, so that's the daily. So after I put this fender on, I'll be raising this thing up because I scrape a lot and it's supposed to be the daily driver, so probably an inch or two overall, and then I'll be cool with that. But yeah, so let's get started on this. Looking pretty good. I went ahead and done the same steps on this side. I gotta add the one right here because I wasn't sure where I put the one on the other side. I thought it was like right here or right here, but it's right here. So I gotta add that one. But the ones that are in place, I should be able to hard mount it, then drill this one out. So yeah, we'll be all good. And it'll finally cover up this dent that I had from when somebody decided to ram into my car from behind while it was still a shell and parked. So that'll finally go somewhere. Yeah, I also scratched it right here with the grinder, so I had to paint that up too real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this back on, make sure that all the holes were the same size for the rivets, and the rivets go in like so. Oh, come on. I just did it. And it's the one that I decided to show off. I hate when that happens, but I basically did this. Make sure that they all fit in like that pretty snug. I'll drill you out now. But yeah. So after this, I'll be putting that on. I'll re-drill this hole, but I'll probably do that off camera. And then this stuff, this needs Jesus. I'm gonna have to clean this out when it's time to like finally paint it. Actually, I'll just take a wire brush to it right now. Cause that's nothing to show off. So yeah, so far so good. Well, it's dusty, but it's out. Finally get to see the color in the light. I like what I'm seeing. But that is the rear overfenders. They are successfully on there. I'll call that a wrap. Next thing will either be throttle cable and pedal or front bash bar, so we'll see.